Friday. You know what that means. Episode 9. Hate to see it with Mike and Sid. I am pumped. I am Sid. Next to me is Mike. What's good?
Hey, how's it going, Sid? I think we just recorded a few days ago. I think this might be the first time that we've recorded twice in the same week.
You might be right. Maybe that's why I'm so excited.
But I'm looking forward to this show. I was hoping I could get your advice on something.
Sure, go ahead. What's up?
Do you think it's considered rude to get a housewarming gift for an Eskimo?
It's a good question. I guess it depends on the gift.
I was going to get some lighter fluid.
You truly hate to see it. Well, Mike, as you mentioned, we're recording on a Friday. That's because tomorrow's a big event, which we'll get to later. You know, I've had a long week. I'm sure you've had a long week. I actually got the vaccination today, my first dose.
How did that go?
It was very interesting. It was just, it's quite the experience. I don't want to go too deep into it, but I was pleased with the way it handled it. I thought it was going to be a long line, but it worked out great. The only struggle was I was wearing my suit because I was at the office, right? So I go there. They're like, which hand or which arm? Left hand or left arm, right arm? I was like, let's go left. So now I have to roll my dress shirt, but I can't unbutton it. Yeah. I'm struggling because, you know, when I'm at home, I just take off the shirt and it easily unbuttons. So I can't do it. I'm struggling. The woman's like, I'll get it. I'm like, all right, cool. So she helps me. And now she's like, roll up your sleeve. So I rolled it up. And she's like, no, higher. I'm like, I can't go higher. She's like, no, higher. I'm like, how high do I have to go? And she's like, all the way. So I'm like pulling it.
Yeah, it's not going to work.
What's the?
I think you actually got to unbutton your shirt and take your arm out of the sleeve. I think that's the only way.
I know, but it did it. It worked eventually because I was determined. She was determined. We got it done. I'm a little sore right now. I won't lie, but I'm here.
So, like, does it hurt? Record. Does it hurt around your arm?
It's sore. It's definitely a little sore. I don't know if it hurts, but it's like someone punched me. It reminds me of our college fights when you and I used to hit each other at some points, and you would, you know, give me a dead arm. That's what it reminds me of.
Oh, that's not that bad.
Yeah, it's not too bad.
I'm actually getting my vaccine tomorrow.
Nice. That'd be good. We're kind of on the same schedule.
Yeah.
So let's kick it off. Let's do our segment that the people ask for. I think we're on a roll with this segment. Do you want to go first, or should I go first?
I'll kick it off.
All right. Go for it.
So, Sid, this was something that you sent me today. The first full trailer for The Suicide Squad from James Gunn. What are your thoughts on this? Do you love to see it or hate to see it?
That's a good question. You took my third
question. Yeah. I knew I was going to take one of yours.
So you truly hate it. I mean, I have a backup now, actually. Mm-hmm. So this is going to be interesting. So I love to see it. The first one, I don't know if you've seen it or not, was not great. It was all over the place. The villain didn't make sense. I don't even remember what happened. Like, there were some good actors in it, but it just wasn't well done. But now, James Gunn, and for people to know him, he did the what movies did he do, Mike?
Guardians of the Galaxy 1 and 2.
1 and 2, and he's going to do the third one after he was fired and now brought back. But anyway, it looks like the trailer looks like something that he would do. It looks like a Gunn movie, which is perfect because that's what the fans want. It looks crazy. It looks exciting. I'm pumped. I'm really excited just to see how these new characters like John Cena's in the movie and Idris Elba, another actor I really like. So I think it's going to be good. What about you?
I like the trailer. It definitely had a James Gunn feel to it. It almost felt like it was a Guardians of the Galaxy movie set in the DC universe. You had the 70s soundtrack. You had the comedy. One part I was a little confused by, there was this scene where there was this voice that was emanating. It was talking about eating all of these dicks on the beach, but the voice wasn't attached to anyone. It was as if the person was invisible. Do you remember that part of the trailer?
I do. John Cena was part of that scene, but I don't remember where the voice came from. But yeah.
Oh, no wonder I couldn't see him.
Mike Smith bring the jokes. Well played.
But overall, I say that I have to hate to see this. Now, This is a movie. The only reason James Gunn is attached to this movie is because he was fired by Disney for tweets that he made in 2008, which were jokes. They were bad jokes, but they were jokes. And Disney knew about these tweets when they hired him, but there was the outrage mob on the internet that got him fired. So he went and signed a contract to make The Suicide Squad. And then there was public outcry, and Disney realized they made a mistake, and they brought him back. But now we have to wait for Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
We do.
We have to wait till 2023 while he makes this stupid movie. And that really pisses me off. I love the Guardians of the Galaxy movies. What kind of name of a movie for a sequel is The Suicide Squad? They just took Suicide Squad, the first movie, and they put the word "the" in front of it. I don't think that's ever happened before. That's the stupidest naming convention ever for a sequel.
Well, they are the Suicide Squad, so who knows? Maybe throw the.
It is just the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard of. And DC, I have been complaining about this. I've been saying they should do this for forever. DC just needs to nuke their universe. They need to start over. They got off on the wrong start. What happened was 2012, Avengers came out. It made $1.5 billion. And Warner Bros. is like, we need some of that money. So what do we do to make that money? Oh, we got to do Justice League. We got to do Batman versus Superman. But they didn't do what Marvel did. Marvel comes out with an Iron Man movie. They come out with a Hulk movie, a Thor movie, a Captain America movie. They introduce characters in all these movies. They have these tags at the end of the credits in all these movies that tease what's coming. And then they all build it up to the Avengers movie. It's a process. It took them 4 years to get there. DC just wanted to skip to the finish line. They do all these crappy movies. They do this.
I disagree. They weren't crappy. They were.
There's a couple good ones. There's a couple good movies, but for the most part, it's just haphazard.
You just got Disney bias.
There was
no. You got Disney bias.
No, I have my own problems with Disney. You could play back the tape.
You're a Disney fanboy.
I was criticizing Disney for their treatment of Gina Carano a few episodes ago. So and the other thing I have is
watch the Snyder cut.
You can't. Because these stupid team up movies, you can't just do the team up movie without building up to it. It's too much. You're trying to introduce too many characters. And the other thing is Margot Robbie, she's a great actress. I like her. I don't like this version of Harley Quinn.
Oh no, she's fantastic.
Got to go back to the Batman the animated series from the 90s.
You're talking out of your ass.
That was a very different Harley Quinn. That's the one I want to see on film.
Well, that's the one you're going to get. You're not going to get that one.
Well, so I hate to see this. I want Guardians of the Galaxy 3 right now. I want the DC universe. I want them to just reboot it, reboot Batman, reboot Superman, slowly build up to the team up movies. This just pisses me off.
Well, you should watch the Snyder cut because that's the way they intended. And that 4-hour movie accomplished everything that Disney milked us. Disney made too many movies. I think they get too much praise. The Snyder cut was great. I was really proud of it. And you know what? I'm excited for this movie. So I'm going to disagree. They did have some bad movies, but they also had some really good movies. And you know what? Batman, we've grown up with Batman. Wonder Woman, all these characters in not Disney, but the Warner movies, we've grown up knowing. A lot of these Marvel ones, like, it took some time to build up because we're not as familiar with them, in my opinion.
Exactly. That's why you
don't need it.
That's why you don't just introduce Sharkman or you don't just introduce Cyborg, and we're supposed to care about these characters.
No, but if you watch the Snyder cut, they explain Cyborg. They did a really good job.
They do.
No, you didn't watch it. You didn't watch it.
I'm not watching a stupid movie in a 4:3 aspect ratio.
That's the way it was intended.
Yeah, and it was a stupid intention.
All right. You know what? It is my turn now. Now I'm going to pick one, and let's see what do I have on this. Unfortunately, another movie. So back-to-back movies. And I think I maybe sent this to you, I'm not sure, but John Wick director, Chad, whatever, I can't pronounce his name, Stahelski, is developing a Ghost of Tsushima movie for Sony. So Sony is going into the movie business for their video game IPs. They're doing a The Last of Us TV series. Now Ghost is coming out, which is one of the best games of the last couple of years. Do you love or do you hate to see it? I know you didn't play it, but what are your thoughts? Will you check this movie out?
Well, I love to see this. I love movies in that setting, in like feudal Japan. Um, like The Last Samurai with Tom Cruise was a really good movie. I do want to play this game. I did hear about this movie, but I don't remember if it was you that told me about it. I'm all for um, the video games being adapted to the silver screen. Hollywood has been trying to do this for over 30 years. When they first started doing it, it was a joke. It was terrible. You had movies like the original Super Mario Brothers movie, the original Mortal Kombat movie. There weren't really the Tomb Raiders with Angelina Jolie were probably the first ones that did well at the box office, and they were the first ones that got like maybe decent reviews, but they didn't really get great reviews. There were also the Resident Evil movies with Mila Jovovich,
yes,
which were okay, but they were different from the games. I'm trying to think, has there been a really good adaptation based on a video game, like a movie? Can you think of one?
They generally strike out. I'm really excited to see what Uncharted does with Tom Holland. I hope that's good. But again, let's not go too deep into this. Do you love or do you hate this?
I love to see it.
Good. I hope it's good. I think it will be. Now the question is, will they go like someone like Keanu, who could be an Asian man, or will they go like an Asian actor? Do you think they go white man playing this samurai, or will they just go authentic and just pick some?
Oh, I think the trend is these days they'll cast an Asian actor. They got criticized for that. Scarlett Johansson played like actress that was supposed to a character that was supposed to be Asian. What was it, Ghost in the Shell or something like that?
Something, yeah. I think you're right.
And yeah, they get criticized for that. So they'll cast an Asian actor, I'm sure.
Remember The Last Samurai? I think it was a white, but I think the story of that was a white man who was with the Asians or something, right?
Correct. Yes.
All right, your turn, Mike.
All right,
got two movie topics. Let's see what you have for us now.
Well, this is also a video game topic. Super Mario 3D AllStars, which is a game I know you played. It's a compilation game for the Nintendo Switch, which came out last fall. It has one of the most influential games of all time, Super Mario 64.
It does.
It has one of the best games of all time, Super Mario Galaxy. And they also threw in Super Mario Sunshine,
which I liked.
You liked it. It's an underrated game. It's not one of the best Mario games, but it's a good game. And I know you played all those games. You beat them. You enjoyed them.
For the first time.
I was impressed that you did it for the first time, and you beat all of them back to back to back.
I did. That's what I do.
So, but it's finally upon us. Nintendo announced when they released this game that it was going to be a limited time game, and then it would be unavailable after March 31st, which is in just a few days. You're not going to be able to buy this game in stores unless I guess it's like a used copy. You're not even going to be able to buy it digitally from the Nintendo eShop. It's just going to vanish in a few days. What are your thoughts on this? A lot of Nintendo fans are really upset about this. Do you love to see this or hate to see this?
You truly hate to see it, because I think you will hate to see it as well. Video games should not be timed. You buy it whenever the hell you want. It makes no sense whatsoever. They are killing Mario. Maybe this is a ploy to get more people to buy it, and then they'll be like, you know what? Since so many people bought it, we're going to extend it. Maybe that's what they're doing, because if they do that, they're crooks. And I just don't like it. I just hate to see it. There's no reason that I could make that I think it's a good idea. Because it's not like something that some fans didn't know about. You know what I mean? Like Mario's so popular, right? So it's not something like something that they wanted to generate some buzz. So they did this limited edition to make it feel more special. So it just makes no sense. What about you, Mike?
You know what, Sid? I love to see it.
What?
I love it. You know, when we were kids, Disney used to have this thing called The Vault. And they would release their movies, Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, whatever it was. It would be released on VHS. They would come in those nice big plastic VHS cases that folded open. Do you remember those cases? And they would only be available for a limited time. And then Disney would put them into the vault. and you wouldn't be able to buy them again until they opened the vault and took it back out of the vault. Now, this is obviously a metaphorical vault. So this is very much in keeping with that tradition. It makes the releases feel special. If go on Netflix one time, go on HBO Max one time, go on Hulu, look at all the classic movies that are available for you to watch at any time on any of these services. You're never going to watch them. You don't even know that they're there. They are there. But when these studios, when these video game companies release their movies and they're just always available, it removes the specialness of it. You don't care about it anymore. But when Nintendo does something like this, it makes it a big deal when it's available to purchase again. And when they do release it, you're going to go back. You're going to play those games, and you're going to have a good time, and it's going to bring back good memories. So it keeps these games special. I love to see it.
But it was already special. They didn't need to do anything. Just release it, just like every other freaking video game. You buy it when you want to buy it. It's freaking Mario. They don't have to make it feel special. It was special because it was the 30th anniversary. And they released 3 games. And they didn't even do a full remake. So, like, it kind of, like, dropped the ball on this one. So, I'm sorry. We are disagreeing.
I guess so.
This one changed today. Because originally, my question was a little different. But then when I was driving to get my shot, I saw a text. And the text was a screenshot. It said, file to ESPN. Dolphins trading number 3 overall pick to San Francisco 49ers for number 12 pick and a bunch of other first-round picks. So my original question was going to be, Mike, if the Jets draft Zach Wilson from BYU, would you love or would you hate to see it? That was going to be my question. But now because of this trade, my question is a little changed. So my question to you is, this move by the 49ers, do you love or do you hate to see it?
Sid, I got to be honest with you. This news came out while I was busy working this afternoon. I can't even digest it. What I will tell you is I trust Robert Saleh. I trust their front office, whether it's Zach Wilson, whether it's Justin Fields. I think they need a quarterback. I think they need to get one of those guys. So I don't think it really changes what the Jets are going to do.
No, but I was actually hoping the Jets would make this trade because I wanted the Jets to kind of maneuver, get more draft picks. I really wanted them to draft a Heisman. I was targeting the 6th pick. In my mock draft, I figured the Jets could make a trade with the Eagles, but the Dolphins basically did what I thought the Jets would do. Either way, the Jets are still sitting pretty. They're going to get a quarterback. But now this is the thing. They're going to be the first team in the common draft era since 1967 to draft 2 quarterbacks, to select 2 quarterbacks in the top 3 overall picks since 1967. So that's pretty crazy. Now, for the 49ers, Fields, he's all over the place. Some people like him, some people don't like him. I see what they're doing. They're going for, if the Jets draft Wilson, I think I don't like it for the 49ers because I don't know if Fields is going to be a long-term solution. He might be the next RG3. This could be a similar situation to the Washington football team. I almost said the Redskins, which you can't say. So I don't know. I love it for the Dolphins. 49ers, it's going to be interesting. If the Jets don't draft a QB and the 49ers get Zach Wilson, I think it'll be great. But either way, it's exciting. Draft is coming up in a few weeks. I can't wait to talk about it with you.
Yeah, we're going to do an episode on that.
Yes, we are. And I think for that one, we're going to have a special guest.
Sid, since you did a football topic, and just for the record, I'm going to say hate to see it on that one.
All right.
But just moving on, I'll do another football topic. Deshaun Watson. There have been 16 lawsuits filed against him. He has been accused of doing inappropriate things at massage parlors. He has been accused of exposing himself and touching the masseuses inappropriately. Sid, I've known you for a long time, so I'm pretty sure I know your answer on this one. You love to see this, don't you?
Wait, I love to see that he's harassing women?
Yeah.
No, that is the opposite of me. You truly hate to see it. This is disgusting. I'm a gentleman. I treat everyone with respect. I learned that from my late father. So to see something like this, I hate it. I truly do. Now, people are saying maybe the Texans are trying to smear him because he wants out. There's just too many people. Maybe some of these aren't true, but there's too many things coming out. And I don't like it. I don't know what's going to happen. Will the NFL suspend him? I don't know. But this is not looking good for Deshaun Watson, who was a potential Jets target. So I guess in some ways it works out for the Jets because now no one's begging them to make that trade. Everyone's saying draft Wilson. So if Wilson ends up sucking, no one's going to blame them for not trading for Watson because Watson's stock is currently down.
Well, Sid, you just stole my talking point because I love to see this because this really takes a lot of pressure off the Jets. The old Jets, what would have happened to the old Jets is they would have traded 2 or 3 first-round picks for Deshaun Watson, and then these allegations would have come to light. That's what would have happened to the old Jets. But this is the new Jets.
True.
So they lucked out. They dodged a bullet with this one. What I will say is you say that there's too many allegations for them not to be true. These are
no, too many for them to not to be fake.
Right. So I have seen it all too many times where there's a mass hysteria, where there are false allegations in lawsuit papers. Lawsuit allegations in a complaint are not evidence. They're just allegations. Now, these women have hired one of these celebrity lawyers, this Michael Avenatti type lawyer who likes to get a lot of press for himself. If they were serious about their allegations, they would not be trying to create a media circus about this. They would have gone to the police. None of them have filed a police report. In fact, the Houston police, I just checked this as of today, the Houston police says they have no evidence of any of these allegations. So I would take them seriously, but I would not rush to judgment on this by any means. When I was a lawyer first out of law school, one of the things they make the first year lawyers do is you have to take the intake calls where you're talking to potential clients. And let me tell you, you hear some crazy stuff. I'll just be blunt. A lot of these people, they just don't have all their marbles. There's just no nice way to say it. You take these phone calls from these people. We live in a very litigious society. Where people like to go to court, people like to sue people because they're trying to get rich. So I would be very cautious. Deshaun Watson's own lawyer has said that the text messages will exonerate him. So we'll see. That's quite a claim. If his lawyer should not be making a claim like that unless he can back it up. So we'll see. I'm going to give Deshaun Watson the benefit of the doubt for now, as anyone who's been accused deserves in our society. But these are certainly serious allegations, and it is certainly not looking great for Deshaun Watson right now. Whereas just a few weeks ago, he was looking like he could be subject of a big trade in the NFL. It's certainly not looking that way right now.
But you know what?
What?
No, I agree with you. It would be fitting if he ends up coming back, playing really well, and the Jets screwed us up because you screwed up in fantasy this year by not trading for Watson.
Oh.
You would have won the entire freaking fantasy league if you made that trade. I still don't get why you didn't make that trade. It makes no sense.
It's Monday morning quarterbacking, Sid.
Well, not when it comes to me because I'm the guru and I said he should have made that trade. It's always Monday for me. All right, you know what, Mike? I'm not going to even do a third topic. I think we've talked a lot. Let's go into the main topic because I'm excited. I want to dive right into it. Big day tomorrow. UFC 260. Stipe versus Ngannou. Now, you're not the biggest UFC fan. I'm starting to become a big UFC fan. The point of this episode is to talk about it. Talk about UFC. Now, I'm no expert by any means, but I enjoy watching it. I'm going to try to convince you to watch it. I'm going to tell you some reasons why. But let's talk the big ones tomorrow, a heavyweight fight for the title. Now, Mike, let me ask you something. What is your first experience growing up with UFC?
I didn't have any experience with it growing up. It's been around for a while now. When I was in middle school, when I was in high school, I was completely unaware of it. First time I really ever remember being aware of it was in college, or maybe even after college. I remember after college going to bars with you and some of our other friends a few times to watch some fights, but just like, super casual awareness of what was going on. I couldn't even tell you who was in the fights.
Well, I will say this, same here. I knew it existed, but I wasn't a huge fan. Do you remember 2009? We were at Steve's house and we watched a UFC event.
It sounds right, but not really.
Brock Lesnar.
Okay,
And
yeah.
who Brock Lesnar is.
Yeah, of course.
So the reason we watched is because it's Brock Lesnar. He was a wrestler in WWE, still technically might be signed by them, I don't know. But we're like, oh shit, he's gonna fight in UFC. We gotta watch this. So I think that's a lot of parallels between wrestling and UFC because so many UFC wrestlers have come over, WWE wrestlers have gone over. So there's been a lot of mixing. Actually, now I think about it, because of wrestling, my first experiences were because of Steve Blackman. Now, he was a UFC type fighter. I think he was in UFC. Maybe he wasn't, but that's one reason I knew. And also Ken Shamrock.
Yeah, Ken Shamrock was like the first big one that I remember crossing over to pro wrestling.
Yep, that was a big one. And that's where my experiences were. And recently I watched a Ken Shamrock fight. And I guess this fight, I guess back in the day, there was no time limits in UFC. You could literally fight someone for 50 minutes. You'd be literally he was on the ground with this guy forever. And I was like, what the hell? So I think since they've changed the rules. But anyway, I don't want to go too deep into that. So Brock Lesnar was fighting Frank Mir, UFC 100. Holy shit, right now UFC 260. A lot has changed. But at the end of the fight, when Brock won, he said something that not necessarily resonated with me, but something that stuck in my head. And you know me, Mike, I remember things, right? I have a crazy memory. So I've always remembered this, and I don't want to butcher it, so I've written it down. He said, now I'm going to drink a Coors Light. That's right, a Coors. Bud Light don't pay me nothing. I may even get on top of my wife tonight. So he said at post-interview, it got a lot of hype, a lot of praise. You remember who his wife? Well, I think they're still married. You know who his wife is?
Yeah, Sable.
That's right. So he was talking about getting drunk and having some fun with Sable. So I was like, oh shit, I like this. So that was one of my first memories. And then after them, I really didn't watch as much. I paid attention, but it was really because of my job right now originally LA. I had a couple of boys that I worked with who were huge fans, Mike. Big time fans. And then in 2019, we went to watch Khabib. Do you know who Khabib is?
Only through you.
Okay.
I've heard you talk about him before.
Khabib is one of the best. He just retired.
Didn't he beat McGregor a couple times?
He did. Yeah, he did beat McGregor, which was great.
Wasn't there some big altercation between their crews or something like that?
See, you know more than you're thinking. There was an altercation. That is correct. And a lot of times you don't know if it's fake altercation, if they're trying to get people to watch, hype people. It's part of wrestling. They sometimes build storylines. But anyway, 2019, my friends we have to go watch. Khabib is fighting Dustin Poirier, UFC 242. I'm like, okay, let's go watch. Tonight? He said, no, it's in the afternoon. I'm like, afternoon? Why is it in the afternoon? And then he told me they're fighting in Abu Dhabi or something. So that's why it's shown early. I'm like, all right, where are we watching? He's like, we're going to E's bar. I'm like, E? Kevin Connolly from Entourage? He's like, yeah. No, it's not Big E. No. But, people at work actually call me E, which is pretty fitting. So anyway, we're going to Kevin Connolly's bar, who's from Long Island, by the way.
Yeah.
So it's a Long Island type bar. I'm like, this is awesome. We go there. Guess who's there? Kevin Connolly. And E is there.
I hope so.
Yeah, it's a good point. You hope so. He was there. He was actually cheering for Dustin Poirier, and I said to him on Twitter, "If Dustin wins, will you buy us all like shots?" No. I said if. I think I said if Khabib wins, will you buy us all drinks? Because he wanted Dustin.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't respond, but as soon as Khabib won, he bolted out of that freaking bar.
Oh,
he did not want to buy shots for people.
Wow.
So after that, I was pumped. I was like, this is fun. Like, this is a good opportunity to sit there with my friends, watch some action. Like, it got me going. Like, it just started to build this desire I had to watch UFC. Now, Mike, I'm gonna ask you to name a couple UFC fighters. Let's see if you can do that.
Okay. I mean, we've already named some. Can I name those?
Yeah, go for it. Name as many as you can.
Khabib. Do they have to be current?
No.
Khabib, McGregor, Lesnar. Does Bellator count or just UFC?
I'll give you Bellator.
Well, there was CM Punk.
Yeah. Well, I think he fought UFC as well.
Was he UFC or Bellator?
I think he might have done both.
And Ronda Rousey.
Yes, that's a good one.
And
come on, think wrestling. You can get some more.
Yeah, I know. Jake Hager.
Oh yeah, I think he was Bellator, but still, yeah. I'll give you that. I will give you that.
Ken Shamrock.
Yep. Anyone else?
Well, I mean, from women, I know some of the women like Chris Cyborg.
Yes.
Let's
another woman that wrestles right now.
Shayna Baszler.
There you go. Now, that's pretty good. You did a decent job. Now, how about these names? Do you know Chuck Liddell? Have you heard of that?
Yes, I know Chuck Liddell.
So he's an icon. How about Daniel Cormier?
Daniel Cormier, I should have mentioned. Yeah.
Yep, that's another good one. How about Georges St. Pierre?
I don't think so. No.
So he's one of the most famous ones, and because you're such a big Disney fanboy, he was actually in a Marvel movie during a fight. He was in Captain America. What was the second Captain America? Civil War?
Winter Soldier. What character did he play? Was he also in Civil War? Was he in Age of Ultron as well, maybe?
No. I know who you're thinking of, actually.
Oh, okay.
But I think he was in Civil War. Civil War was the third one?
The third Captain America, yeah.
So maybe it was the third one. It was like during the submarine scene. You remember?
Well, that's Winter Soldier. That movie starts out on a submarine.
So maybe
or a boat. A boat.
Yeah. So I think it's that one. He fights Captain America in the beginning.
Okay.
So he's actually one of the best. So, but you did a pretty good job. So I was actually pretty impressed by that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's good. That was my little quiz for you. So now I'm gonna talk about more stuff about UFC and how I continue being a fan. And I don't know why this keeps coming up, but Disney just keeps coming up, which you love.
Well, they own ESPN.
That is true. So when I started becoming a big fan and Disney was coming out, I was like, I got to get Disney Plus, right? That's just the natural thing to do. And then they're like, well, we got a bundle. We got Hulu and we get ESPN Plus. So I was like, why not? Let's get it, because ESPN Plus has the UFC pay-per-views. So it just made sense. It was just perfect. Like the gods just wanted me to watch UFC. They wanted me to have an avenue to do that, where you still have to pay a shit ton of money. That's the unfortunate thing. But at least it's a little discounted.
Yeah, so you have to, in order to watch UFC pay-per-views, this is one of the reasons I think it's hard to get into UFC. It's just like, it's just so confusing. You have to be a member of ESPN Plus.
Yep.
And then you still have to buy the pay-per-view through ESPN Plus on top of your monthly subscription.
I know.
And what do the pay-per-views cost? Like $50, $100?
Yeah, it's like 50, 60. It's a lot of money.
It's crazy. So, like, how are they expecting to get fans when it's like so complicated and so expensive?
Well, it's not that complicated. It's just expensive. Because again, you open up the ESPN Plus app, you just hit buy, and it just does.
How many people you think there are at like 9 o'clock on a Saturday evening? Their friend calls them. Their friend texts them. They're on Twitter. They see something about this fight. Oh, I want to watch this fight. How do I watch it? And then they're trying to figure out how to watch it. It's like, oh, I have to subscribe to ESPN Plus. I got to download this app. I got to subscribe to it.
But did I just tell you? Disney Plus A lot of people got it.
I'm just saying it's too many steps. I think they're losing a lot of customers through this
But you
model.
know what? You make a good point, but ESPN Plus is buying everything. Now they just had that ridiculous NFL deal. Like, ESPN Plus is the way to go. Like, before, maybe I wouldn't have done it if it was a standalone thing.
Yeah.
But now, because of Disney, Hulu, I love it. It's the perfect bundle.
I'm telling you, boomers, though, they just want to press the on-demand button on the remote, and they want to get the fight. That's all they want to do.
I know, but you just open up the ESPN app on your Roku, and you get the fight.
I'm telling you.
Trust me. No.
You just
froze. The price. The price sucks. But what?
You're freezing.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
We don't want to be freezing. That is not good. But anyway, it's expensive. But I'm gonna talk about why it's actually good. Because UFC, you give me what looks like I'm freezing. Am I freezing?
You're fine now.
All right, cool. UFC is a great sport to watch with friends. And if you do watch with friends, you save money because everyone chips in $20. And I think because of that, the last couple of years, like, it's giving me reasons to hang out more with people. Because I can obviously afford a $60, whatever it is. But just to be able to watch and root with friends and like split the price, like, it's giving me a reason to go out there and meet new people. Like, it's been a blast. Like, I think it's one sport that you don't have to be an expert. You don't have to have a rooting, interest. You're watching two people fight. It's freaking entertaining. You can get crazy knockouts, submissions, and people go nuts. And then, like, it's an easy sport to pick up. Like, literally, you don't have to know much about the sport to watch it. Because at the end of the day, it's like fundamentals. One person's going to win. Now, you hope it's a knockout. You hope it's a submission. But sometimes you go to the judges, which can be, challenging in any sport. Because, like, 3 people have to say, and sometimes the judges suck. But I'm talking too much.
Well, you raise a good point, Sid. It can be a lot of fun watching a big fight. I do it more often with boxing, but boxing I couldn't tell you really anything about either. But similar thing with boxing. You don't really need to know that much about it. You can still have a good time going to some friends. You all chip in for the pay-per-view, or going to a bar, and maybe you pay a small cover to watch the fight. It's a fun time. I've watched a number of these big UFC pay-per-views over the year. I always have a good time watching them with friends. One thing I was wondering, Sid, is UFC was one of the only sports that really did not shut down during the pandemic. They just kept going. They were doing pay-per-views on like islands and stuff like that.
They were. We're gonna talk about that.
But we were just talking about people getting together, people going to the bar. This is stuff that you were not doing during the pandemic. People were staying home. People were staying by themselves. They were trying to stay safe, stay socially distanced. So I'm wondering, their business must have taken a pretty big hit this past year. Is that your understanding?
That's a good point. I'm sure they lost a lot because of the bars, but also the same way, people are stuck at home, right? They're bored out of their mind.
Yeah.
So I'm sure more individual people bought. Like, you weren't going to bars and buying and seeing with friends. People were still buying because we were bored, and other sports were not doing as well. Like the thing with UFC, but I don't want to talk about this yet, but maybe I will. Again, they did such a brilliant job during the pandemic, and they really didn't need fans. Like, a lot of sports depend on fans, but UFC, I think it was cool because what happened is, like, you could actually hear the fighters. Like, you could actually hear, like, a guy's getting his ass kicked, and he's still talking shit. And you can hear him talk shit to his opponent. You can hear his cornermen saying, do this, do that. Like, there's a different element that you wouldn't necessarily hear if there were fans.
And you hear the punches and the kicks land too, right?
Exactly. But
yeah.
The crazier part is the fighters also hear the commentators.
Oh, really?
So they're hearing the commentators who are saying, maybe you should be doing this. Maybe you should be doing that. And they're picking up on things. Like, it's a whole...
They actually react to it?
Yeah, they actually react to it, which is pretty crazy.
Do they ever get pissed off, like what the commentators are saying?
Oh, I'm sure people get pissed off.
Because that's 100%. Always that's a trope in pro wrestling, actually. They've done it a few times where one of the wrestlers will hear one of the announcers, like, trash talking him, and then, like, they'll go confront the announcer and occasionally even attack the announcer.
Oh, no, and it would happen, like, post-game.
Yeah.
Like not like post match, like the fighter would bring up something the commentators would say because the commentators would interview him afterwards, and he would be like, "I heard you say this about me during the fight," and it had all this funny banners. That was cool. But let me just back it up a little. Do you know Michael Buffer?
Yeah, the ring announcer, of course.
Yes, famous.
And he has a brother too, right?
Yeah, his brother is a UFC.
Yeah.
So you have the Buffer brothers,
right?
But they are actually stepbrothers.
I didn't know that.
So
now, I was unaware of this second Buffer brother because Michael Buffer is much more famous from the Let's Get Ready to Rumble. But the stepbrother,
or maybe it's a half brother.
Maybe half brother.
Yeah, I think it's half brother.
They're different, but
they're different. I think it's half.
Half brothers are blood related. Step brothers are not. But
yeah, half brothers.
So, well, what's the name of this service? There's this service which like athletes and celebrities use. Cameo, you know Cameo, right?
Yes, for sure.
So the brother, what's his name? It's not Michael Buffer. What's his name? It's like John Buffer, Bruce, or whatever it is.
The UFC guy is Bruce Buffer.
Bruce Buffer. So he was on Cameo, and someone paid him to break up with his girlfriend on Cameo, and he did it like in the announcing voice.
That's hilarious.
Yeah,
but just think about how remarkable is it that they didn't know they were brothers or half brothers. But
they didn't know that.
They didn't know. In 1989, Bruce's, let's see, what does it say? So basically, the father recognized Michael Buffer on TV doing his thing, and then because of that, he introduced him to his half brother. So because he was famous, they recognized him and then they introduced him.
Was the half brother Bruce doing announcing as well?
It's a good question. I don't remember if he was. He might have been. I don't really know that.
That would be a hell of a coincidence if they were both announcers.
That would be.
You know, it reminds me, Sid. Sorry. There's this movie about mixed martial arts that I like a lot. With Joel Edgerton and
who?
Joel Edgerton.
Oh, nice, good actor.
And I think Tom Hardy. Yeah, Tom Hardy. Warrior. Have you ever seen Warrior?
You know, I don't think I have. I should see that.
Oh, Sid, I'm not even going to spoil it for you. You got to put it on your list. It's a mixed martial arts movie.
Okay.
And watch the movie. It's a good movie. Nick Nolte's in it too, and you'll know once you watch the movie what made me think of it, aside from the mixed martial arts fact.
Okay.
Because there's something we were just talking about that just reminded me of that movie. Yeah, definitely put it on your list and watch it. It's a great movie.
No, I will. Now let's go back to talking. But I mean, that's a really cool thing that both brothers are so successful in their own sport. One is boxing, one is UFC. But you know what? UFC is probably more famous. I mean, more popular right now than boxing. It is overtaken.
Yeah, it has.
So that, it's pretty cool. They're both doing really well. So pandemic hits. A lot of sports are impacted. But Uncle Dana, as some people call him, Dana White, he knew he had to do something. And I think you like Dana, right?
I'm a big fan of Dana White. I think he's a good businessman.
He is.
I just like how he tells it how it is, and he just doesn't care what people think about him.
It's true. Like, even after, like, the last pay-per-view, he was pissed at the judges. He was like, that's horse shit. That decision, like, are they blind? Like, he ripped on them, like, which is pretty cool to see. Like, he actually ripped on the judges because he's a straight shooter, and you got to respect that.
Yeah, I do.
So, again, he's a good businessman, right? He's not going to let the pandemic affect him. It's a lot of money. So what does he do? He builds a bubble fight island in Abu Dhabi. Like, how fucking cool is that? Fight Island? Like, that alone is a marketing genius. So now everyone's like, what is this Fight Island? So he builds it. They have an arena there. They have fights there. And they had some really big fights there. The first one was Usman versus Masvidal. Now, unfortunately, it wasn't a great fight. Because the pandemic, again, kind of screwed things up. Because Usman was supposed to fight someone else. But again, Dana White, businessman, he's going to produce. So he brings in Masvidal, who you don't know.
No, I don't know either of these guys.
So he brings him, who's a big talker, right? Like, I think they call him Game Breed or something. But, like, Masvidal is very popular. So he brings a very popular person last minute. He's got to do all this COVID protocols. Like, literally, he had to test after test. Like they didn't even know if he can make it because he has to fly across the world. But he gets there, he fights, he loses. But you know what? And no one thought he'd win because of the short turnaround. But Dana White put it up, and now they're actually going to fight again in a rematch, which happens a lot in sports.
Well, the main event of this 260 is a rematch, right?
It is. Wow, look at you, Mike. Did you watch the video I sent?
I watched the video. Yeah.
Good. I was going to be pissed. So people, Dana White again, ultimate showsman, ultimate marketing genius. He puts out these clips, to hype up the show. He talks about the card. One thing I got to respect about him, like he knows his shit. He's not just the CEO. Like he studies the game. He thinks about these matchups. He is trying to give the fans what they want, and I commend him. Anyway, he's doing a rematch. Rematch is happening, I believe. Let's see, when is it happening? It's happening, I think, in Texas. When it's going to be, I forget the date. I think I had it somewhere. But anyway, no, actually, it's happening in Tampa Bay or Jacksonville. One of those areas where it has actually opened up because of COVID. I think there's a lot of events there. WrestleMania in Tampa.
Yeah.
So it's become a popular spot to have fights with fans. So this will be the first event with fans rematch. I'm very excited, looking forward to it.
Cool. When's that going to be?
It's April. I think it's like April 20th. Yeah, it's next month. I forget exactly when.
Is it 261? UFC 261?
It should be. Yeah.
Is there generally like one a month of the numbered events?
Yes, generally it's once a month.
Mm-hmm.
So this is 260, which we're gonna have to talk about this card because I'm actually really pumped. And then May 15, another big one coming. It's gonna be in Texas, Toyota Center. Now let me tell you why I actually like UFC. It's a sport, Mike, where the fighters, they're constantly trying to make the next big fight. Because at the end of the day, like, you only get paid when Dana books a fight, right?
Right.
And the higher you're in the card, the more money you're gonna make. So I love it because literally after they fucking like battled with someone, like they're bleeding, maybe a broken nose, they just went through a battle and they just won. They're pitching themselves right away for the next big event that's coming up. Because they want to make them, they want to make more money, and you gotta respect that. They're literally can barely talk, but they're like, Dana, Toyota Center, May 15. The card has not been announced. Like, put me up. Like, they pitch Uncle Dana.
Yeah, you gotta respect that hustle.
Yeah, you gotta respect it, and I think that's pretty cool. Now, are you familiar with the performance bonus?
No.
So this is another thing about UFC that I like, Mike. Each pay-per-view or each event, the fighter that Dana and the committee feel like performed the best gets a $50,000 bonus.
So the winner of the fight?
It's generally a winner, but a fight has a card has several fights.
Mm-hmm. So I got you.
Yeah. So literally, you're not only thinking about winning your fight, you're thinking about winning it with style.
Mm-hmm.
So you can win that bonus. Because some of these people, Mike, they're not big stars.
Now, so let me ask you this: sometimes you send me these clips, these clips on Twitter where someone gets like a KO, like it just knocks somebody out, like in the opening round within a few seconds, or there's some kind of submission and someone's tapping out like immediately. You get these like matches that are just over in the blink of an eye. Yep. Is that something that's going to get you the performance bonus or not?
Yeah, it could. It definitely could. It's about style. It's about the timing. There's a lot of there's many factors in it. It's what vows the audience. What vows like Dana White.
Vows?
Like, is that a word?
Wows.
Yeah, I guess it is vows.
It's gonna crack up our friends there. So.
It is. Again, W and V's. I mess them up. You truly hate to see it. But yeah, no, it could be any event. And again, literally after a fight, the fighter's like, Dana, I hope you saw that. Hit me up with that 50,000 bonus. They're always pitching. They're always trying to win. Because again, what I was trying to say, Mike, is sometimes the guy in the second fight may not be a household name, right? Mm-hmm. This could be like his big opportunity. That $50,000 can go a long way to him.
Now, are these the fights that are just on the main card, or are they also like? Because I know Dana White was saying there's fights starting at 7:30.
Correct.
There's fights starting at 8:00 on ESPN Plus. Then the main card he was saying starts at 10:00. So are all these fights eligible for the performance bonus?
You know what? That's a good question. I think they are. I think any one of them are. I don't think it has to be part of the main card, but I should definitely look into that. You make a really valid point. Again, I'm not a guru when it comes.
Wallin. Wallin.
What?
You just said Wallin.
I did?
Yeah.
Oh, it's this COVID vaccine. I'm getting tired.
Oh.
It's really taking a toll on me.
You hate to see it.
You truly do. But yeah, no, you make a valid point, Mike. Now let's talk about. Let me see what I should. Let me share my screen actually. Let's share. I want to show you the UFC website actually. So you got any questions for me, Mike? Oh, it's disabled. You may have to enable it. Oh shit! The first time we recorded, it was on. The second time it was not. It was off.
I forgot to do it the second time. This is our second take of this episode.
It is. We recorded 56 minutes, and then I just wasn't feeling it.
We just decided to trash it.
Yeah, we said, you know what? The fans demand better.
And now we are bringing our A+ game.
This is true.
Even though it's a Friday evening.
It is. It is, and I've been vaccinated. What do you see? You see Jon
Jones.
Cool. So this is the athlete rankings, which I like actually. It's pretty cool that they do this. And for someone that doesn't know the fighters, I think it's a cool thing to see. For example, you have a different, forget this one right now. This is the pound for pound. It could be like anyone from any category. But you have flyweight, you have bantamweight, you have featherweight, it shows the champions, and it shows like the top, it goes up to top 15. So it shows you who's trying to climb. So it's pretty cool to see, like you could try to figure out what future matches will be. And you can, you can click on the person, you can find out more about him. Let's see who like this person is. I don't know this person.
Is Dana White responsible for these rankings?
He definitely has a big part of it, for sure. I don't know if it's a committee, but he definitely, I'm sure, has a lot of sway. So now let's get some bigger people. This is Usman who was talking about.
Okay.
And he's fighting Masvidal, which is number 4. Now, UFC does this. A lot of times you're like, wait, shouldn't this guy fight the number 1 guy or number 2 guy? Why is he fighting number 4? Right? Like, why? Like, it doesn't make sense. And you know what? Again, Dana White's all about putting on the show that people are going to buy. He wants to make money, right? So he knew there's a story. He knew there's a story because, and actually he owed it to Jorge. Because Jorge literally last minute fought him last, so I think he just wanted to redo it again. Now, this is my favorite fighter. Another guy who I saw at East Bar fight for the first time, and I was hooked. This guy is Stylebender. That's his nickname. You familiar with that? Was it cartoon Stylebender?
No.
I think it's anime. But anyway, this guy...
Airbender?
Yeah, there's Airbender. Maybe it's a play on Airbender. Anyway, so then you have light heavyweight. But tomorrow, we got the heavyweight. Do you know this guy, Stipe? Have you heard of him?
I just heard of him from the video, from Dana's video.
So people call him the greatest heavyweight in UFC history.
That's what Dana White was saying. Where's he from?
He's from Cleveland, Ohio.
I never would have guessed that this guy was American. I thought he was from like Poland or something. Or
he
not
could
Poland.
be.
Like,
He could be.
Yeah.
he could be. But yeah, he's considered the greatest heavyweight of all time, which is pretty cool. I mean, it's a big deal. He fought Cormier 3 times.
He beat him twice.
He beat him twice.
He lost to him once or draw?
So the first time he lost.
Okay.
And it was kind of like a like out of nowhere type of thing. Like Cormier got him good and won. The second time, Mike, looks like Cormier is doing better, right? And this is the thing I like about combat sports. People think it's just action, right? They think just punching, kicking, but it's very mental. So Stipe's fighting Cormier. He's not doing so hot. But he notices that Cormier's got a big belly that's unprotected during the fight. So he literally, boom, hits him in the gut. Boom, again, boom. About 14 times, Mike. Wow. He just keeps targeting that, sees the weakness, basically uses that to take out Cormier.
And Cormier is one of the best of all time too, right?
One of the best. He's been a heavyweight. He's been a light heavyweight. He's had some big feuds with this guy. You know Jon Jones?
Yes, of course.
So he likes the coke. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
he's been in trouble a few times. He also
Yeah.
loves dick pills too. Apparently, like pills you get from the gas station.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that was a thing, but apparently people get addicted to it. So they've had some great feuds, Cormier and Jon Jones. And Jon Jones has not fought in a while, and he's still a pound for pound. Like, I don't get that. Like, literally,
Now,
he has not.
sorry,
Yes.
I might be thinking of the right person. I might be thinking of the wrong person. But I know that one of the things that Dana White and UFC have been criticized for is covering up the urine tests, covering up for players that piss positive, to preserve the big fights. Is there truth to that? And is it Jon Jones, the one that I'm thinking of, that is involved in that controversy?
He's definitely involved. He's had some setbacks, and it's possible. Again, I'm not an expert. I don't know if that's happened. I'm sure there've been some cover-ups,
Mm.
but there's been a long history with Jon Jones. He's pissed off a lot of people, but he's one of the best. I hope he comes back. He wants to move up and fight Stipe.
What's he, light heavyweight?
Yeah, he's light heavyweight, but he could definitely move up to heavyweight. That would be a matchup I would love to see. So now, big matchup, 260. You watch the video. Now, as you can see here, number 2. So these two are fighting again, right?
When was the first one?
Good question. The first one was January 2018.
Okay, it's been a few years.
Yeah, it's been a few years. And now, Stipe, for some reason, Mike, is generally, I'm gonna stop sharing for now, but generally Stipe is an underdog on all his like championship fights, which is weird. Like, this guy gets no love whatsoever. For example, the last 4 championship fights, I think against Cormier he was the favorite, but against Cormier the second time he was not. He was the underdog. Against Ngannou, who he's fighting tomorrow, he was the underdog. Against Verdum, he was the underdog. So he's always the underdog because he's not a flashy guy, but he just wins. He gets there, and he's very intelligent. He gets there and he wins. Now, I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. I think Stipe will win, but let me just talk about their history recently. I'm trying to pull something up. So since that fight in 2008, Mike,
18.
Stipe, 2018, good point, has fought only one other fighter, Daniel Cormier.
Ooh, and he won.
He won the last 2. So literally, he's fought the same opponent 3 times. Like, there's not much. I mean, yeah, it's a lot of training, but you're fighting against a similar style each time. You know what I mean? Like, he's just been conditioned to fight that guy, and he's only fought 3 fights. Ngannou, since that fight, has fought 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 against 5 other people, 5 different styles, 5 different fighters. So I feel like Ngannou is more ready.
Is this kind of like Rocky 3, where at the beginning of that movie, Rocky has been defending his championship against some easy opponents, and Clubber Lang is this killer who wants a fight with him, and he finally gets that fight, and Rocky is just not ready for this fight and just gets wrecked.
You know, Mike, you make a really good point.
Yeah,
I love that.
You pity the fool.
You pity the fool. You know, my heart says Stipe, greatest ever, but yeah, it could happen. Like, it wouldn't surprise me if Ngannou, who's a beast, gets in there and just knocks his ass out. Like, it's very possible. You know, Ngannou, they say he's 100% finish rate, which is fucking like spectacular. He's got 9 takedowns since 2015, so that's pretty impressive. Like, he's hungry because the last fight, again, Ngannou was a favorite. He was expected to win, but he was not a household name. You know, go ahead.
Is this a fight you expect to go the distance and be decided by the judges, or do you think it'll end before that?
That's a very valid question. I think it's not going to go to distance. I think the Cormier fights were like, especially the last one, I think went the distance because I think Cormier was the end of his career. He's just trying not to get knocked down. But this fight, I think it's not going to go the distance.
So, I mean, there's a number of ways that a match like this could end. You could have a submission finish, right?
Yep.
You could have the ref just call it, right? Because technical knockout. What do you think in a fight like this? Like, I don't know what kind of style fighters these guys are. What do you think is like likely for the match to end?
I think it's gonna be a knockout.
Knockout.
These are heavyweights. I think one of them is gonna make a mistake, and the other one is just gonna pounce. Like I could see Ngannou hit him, knock him down, get on top of him, and start just railing on him.
Are these guys both strikers?
Yeah, they're definitely strikers. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I like those kind of fights. So, I might have to check this out tomorrow night.
Yeah, you might. Maybe I can even give you my subscription. You can tune in. But don't tell Dana.
You don't want to tell Dana that.
Yeah, Dana is actually he threatened, basically. He's like, we found one guy who was claiming he's gonna stream my pay-per-view, and we're ready. If he does it, we're fucking getting him. Like I wonder what happened, but he literally called this guy out. He's like, I'm not gonna say who it is, but we're looking at you.
FBI's gonna be knocking on his door.
Exactly. Now let me talk about the other thing about UFC. Now on this card, we got a couple other fights, but honestly, I'm not a huge. I mean, like I don't know these guys, Mike.
I was looking at it with the video that you sent me. There's a lot of fights. There's like a dozen fights or something like that.
Yeah, there's the early prelims. There's the main card, and you know what, Mike? The beauty of UFC is you don't have to know the fighters. Like you learn a lot before the fight. The UFC does a good job telling you about the background of the fighters. And just because it's a combat sport, anything can happen that could be exciting. Like you literally don't have to know much about it, and any fight can impress you. That's the beauty of this. Like literally any fight can just something crazy could happen in a split second where you could be like, holy shit. Like, like if everyone's saying this guy's gonna win, the underdog could come and just easily win. And that brings my next point, why I love UFC. Now, Mike, I'm not a big sports bettor by any means, but one thing I love to do when I'm in Vegas, if it's a UFC fight, is to bet a 5-match parlay. So, and I recommend this. I recommend anyone that goes to Vegas in the near future during a UFC event, if you're not a big fan, you should do this.
So this fight is in Vegas, right?
Yes, it is. It is in Vegas. It is in the Apex Center.
Oh.
Yeah.
The Champions Arena.
That's right, the Champions Arena. But what was I just saying? I lost my train of thought.
Betting the parlay. Sorry about that.
No worries. So what I recommend is you pick all the main card fights. Generally, there's 5. Pick a winner of each fight.
Okay.
Try to pick a couple favorites, but pick some underdogs. Because then what happens is now you're invested in this 5-card event. You bet $20, which isn't that much, right?
Yeah.
But if you pick up underdogs, like you could win $1,000. Like literally, if you because the point of a parlay is you have to get everyone right.
There's no money for getting 4 out of 5 or anything like that.
No. So last time I was in Vegas, which is appropriate because we talked about this in our last episode right before COVID. Stylebender was fighting in Vegas. Now we didn't go to the fight, but like a bunch of us, I reserved like a nice sitting at a club. We went there and I bet the parlay, and everyone was aware of my bets. First fight, I win. Second fight, I win. People are getting pumped. Third fight, I win. Wow. Now it's the 4th fight. 2 women are fighting. And this is probably one of the best fights I've ever seen. And I give the women a lot of credit in UFC. And I think a lot of times women fights are better than men fight. Because the women, believe it or not, they don't give up. Like, they keep hitting each other. It's just so violent, but they don't tap out. They keep going at it. In this fight,
unless you're Ronda Rousey.
Yeah, unless you're Rousey. But yeah, like literally, this fight went the full distance, and unfortunately, the person I picked lost. Like, you should have seen her face. It was so mangled, and I felt so bad. I thought she was going to pull it out.
Was it like Britt Baker?
It was worse. Like, it looked like ET. Her face literally looked like ET.
No way. That's horrible.
It is horrible. There were so many memes. I felt so bad. And then the fifth fight, my boy Sal Bennett won. So I was 4 out of 5. I literally could have won the big parlay. You hate to see it.
Truly do.
So again, I definitely recommend. That's a good way to get invested in the sport. Like, you bet on it, and don't be a you don't have to bet a lot of money. Just be smart, and it's just fun because you're invested in the whole card at that point.
That does sound fun, Sid. And once the pandemic is over and things are starting to get back to normal, I do want to go to the bar and watch some of these fights because that's always a good time.
Yeah, no, there's nothing better than going to a bar because you feed off the energy of the people watching the event. You know what I mean? And I think last fight, I went to one of my coworkers' place. It was like 8 of us. We were socially distanced. So, like, watching those fights, like, we were pumped, we were excited, you know, we're having a good time. Like, it was really one of the first times during this COVID that I was out and about having a good time watching UFC, which is a great time.
Nice.
What questions do you got? Anything? Or
Sid, what is your prediction for the main event?
All right. It's tough, Mike. I really want Stipe to win. I really want to see him to win. Again, he's a genius. He is very intelligent. Like, he knows, like, he can find a weakness and exploit it. But I think Ngannou is going to win. He's going to do it. Now, what about you, Mike? You watched the hype video. Based on that, who do you think you're going to pick?
I don't know how to pronounce his name, but Ngannou, the challenger, I'm getting the vibe that he's going to win.
Okay, that's a very good prediction.
Do you have another match that you're most looking forward to tomorrow night?
Sure. So the middle match, O'Malley. He's a very, not flamboyant. He's a skinny dude. He's a crazy hair color. The fans love him, right? He's very passionate. He just has this vibe.
What weight class are we talking here?
He's a bantamweight, so he's really small. So he actually fought the last time Stipe fought. Like, when Stipe fought Cormier, he was in that card, but he got injured. It was another big fight, and you really hate to see it. Like, his leg got messed up. Like, it got messed up. He couldn't continue, or maybe he got knocked out. But anyway, he was injured. He left in crutches. So I'm hoping to see him rebound. Like, I'm really pulling for him because he's not rated or ranked right now, but he was on a good trajectory to become ranked. Okay. So I'm hoping he rebounds and does well.
Are they giving him a tough opponent or someone that he should be able to beat?
It's another unranked person, so it should be someone he should be able to beat.
Okay. What do you call those? Like tomato cans?
I've never heard of that. What does that mean?
Maybe I have the expression wrong, but I think I'm right. A tomato can is just someone that they throw up to somebody that they're just supposed to beat. They're supposed to crush them.
That makes sense. You might be right.
Check me on that, though, because I'm not 100% sure.
I will. But you know what? It's an exciting time. I mean, fans are coming back. Next month, we're going to have in Florida, then Texas. So I'm really excited what other events Uncle Dana's going to put on coming the rest of the year. I think it's going to be exciting. And you know what? Rarely do they disappoint. Like,
that's cool, Sid.
It is cool.
I think you've sold me on this. I think I'm going to check it out.
Cool. Again, don't tell Uncle Dana, but I may give you my subscription details to ESPN Plus.
My lips are sealed.
Alrighty. I think I did as much as I could, considering it's Friday. I'm tired. I got this I got this vaccine. Anything else, or you think it's a wrap?
I think it's a wrap, Sid. I think that was a good conversation. I learned a lot. I'm looking forward to checking this out tomorrow night. One thing I've been looking forward to all week, and I'm going to do it right now after we call it quits for a night, is watch episode 2 of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Oh, yes. Same here. I completely forgot. Did you like that first episode?
Yeah, that was one of my. I almost brought it up. Decided not to bring it up in our first segment, but we'll definitely get to that at some point.
I couldn't believe you stole one of my topics today.
Yeah, I really wanted to make that John Cena joke, so that's why.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. Everyone, have a great weekend. Fights tomorrow night. Check it out. Another thing, Mike, I love being on the West Coast because of the UFC fights because they happen much earlier in the day. I think it's a tougher sell on the East Coast when it's later at night.
Yeah, that's a good point. All right, cool. Sid, it's been fun.
Yes, it has. Take care.
Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Have a good one.